Salutations, my bros. It's been a little bit of a minute. I think that's kind of going to be the trend now. Definitely not daily uploads. Anyway, so I have a little bit different of a format today. I have some notes. I'm just going to kind of go over with what has been done because it's been a lot. And what I really wanted to hone in on here is Settlers Avenue, which has turned into Settlers Square. And it just all the little details. I haven't done the interiors, and I still have to come up with restaurant ideas and names and stuff for shops along that stretch leading to the back of the carousel and everything. But I think we're finally honing in on something. The first iteration was cool. It was nice to look at, but the scaling was kind of whack. It just felt too crammed, and overall just, wasn't my best, outing. So we're just kind of widening paths and scaling everything properly, using that archer. Use the archer, please, for the love of God, boys. It's a lifesaver. And just making it all look scaled nice and just a little bit more realistic, and thinking guest flow and putting all that into the mix, and considering those tedious little details that make up theme parks. And this is the one big cool thing that we also are doing is exit through the Emporium. Total rip of Dollywood. It'll be off to the left, as you can see by the front gates and stuff, which have been tweaked, putting the actual gates and closing some off, whatever. I think we'll do an episode probably after the next one or the one following where Settlers Square is just done. Interiors, lighting, everything, so be on the lookout for that. But just kind of getting the scale, really just getting the shells done and adding detail and tying it up and making it look, well, again, nice. Oh, and we did move the train station, by the way. Train station will be located in what was Franklin County, is now going to be called, this place called New River Junction. Same region and stuff. I live in this little area of Appalachia called the New River Valley, actually. I got this book and I really want to, use that for reference and stuff. Books are way cooler than iPhone screens. Boomer moment. But the old train depot, the building is going to stay, and I guess we can tie it into a backstory that was the old train station at one point, and it still gets kept up. The park leaves it up as kind of a nice homage to what once was at Appalachian Adventure. What was the past? So it's a cool little history thing, and we'll tie in a backstory to the park and everything. Technological demon within. Anyway, so New River Junction, already went over that. Oh, and fine. Okay, so we have a Skyrocket II right in the front of the park. I honestly did want to push off this little thing until, way later when the park was way more developed, and then kind of make it as like a fun new addition, like up to speed with the park's development stuff. But I got carried away, placing it down and building, well, fences, a lot of fences. So this, I haven't settled on a name, but I'm kind of leaning towards something weird, like Shenandoah Swamp Fox. I don't know. I'm just trying to make the color scheme work. I don't even know if I like the color scheme. I've toyed around with other schemes like, gold and, grays and blues and stuff. So we'll figure something out. But if you have suggestions, please, for the love of God, let's get these analytics up and engagements up. Leave a comment down below. Give me some ideas for potential colors. And basically, now it just says, set the stage for the next episode. And the next episode is going to be, it is a mouthful. That's a trait of mine, ask your moms. Cool, realistic stuff. I'm really honing in on the Dollywood, Busch Gardens aesthetics here lately. And the Planet Coaster kick is back, boys. That's what happens. It comes in waves, and it was away for a little bit. Now it's back. So we'll have something up on the workshop, and I'm open to collabs, but we'll get to that in another video. Okay, love you, bye. Like, comment, subscribe. Love of God, do it. Seriously, it takes a minute, but guys, seriously, Planet Coaster console just came out, so people coming onto YouTube looking for, really clean, steezy Planet Coaster content. Alright, gentlemen, so here we are in the real-time overview. I wasn't initially planning on doing this for this particular video because I felt the cinematics might have been enough to give you some substance, but then I got to editing and realized it's only 5 minutes, and well, the YouTube gods won't promote my shit unless it's 10-ish minutes, I think is the sweet spot. So I'm a whore, 1, and 2, I really just want to give you guys a more in-depth, well, real-time view of what's going on, because there have been a few minor changes between the cinematics and the commentary, and when we're recording this. Here, Settlers Square, that new, it's the same general layout of the original one. It's just some newer buildings, like, just adding some pizzazz, I guess, maybe like right in here and stuff, redoing, basically just taking what we had and kind of retrofitting it to be scaled, well, better, more realistically, and just give it a better aesthetic kind of vibe. I didn't want to start it from scratch, and I wanted to incorporate more you know, kind of wooden buildings and stuff, not just strictly Tudor. And that's what we did right here. This is what was the original Settlers Grill. This will be that, but we kind of, there's a building at Hershey Park called Founders Grill, and that's exactly what we ripped this off of, basically the layout and in terms of name. But we left it open under here so we can eventually get in there and do a kind of self-service kind of restaurant, not like a dine-in restaurant or anything like that. This little building right here will be a candy shop, Shenandoah Sweet Tooth or something. Just take any Appalachian related name and then find another word that starts with the first letter of the Appalachian word in question, and you have yourself high quality budget theming. So really just making it, just kind of changing it up, but not making it completely unrecognizable to those who have been following the project. But I feel like this kind of flows better, and it allowed us to, the Emporium, I didn't want it to be an entirely Tudor building, so kind of flowing in and matching different textures of wood, if that makes sense. I'm not an architect, I'm not an artist or anything, so I don't know what I'm talking about here, but all I know is that when I look at this, I get horny, and that's all that matters. That's really what the end goal of going to a theme park and looking at theme park architecture and design should be, is to just turn you on. Anyway, so yeah, we kind of redid this right here, and the big old Emporium, exit through the Emporium, this is something I really have been itching to like incorporate into a project, and I felt what a better project to do it in than a complete Dollywood ripoff. So that's what we did here, but it kind of flows really, really well, because when you're coming down, exiting the park, you know, follow the tower, it's a good point of interest, and then you kind of just keep going towards the gate, and it's like, oh, we have to exit, you know, hang a right, and you shoot straight out through the Emporium. And once you come out, it'll just be kind of a generic-y path up to the, well, where you start your adventure here in Appalachia. At the hospitality house, where you'll go ahead and get tickets and such like that. I mean, you don't need a humongous ticket booth, guys. It's 2020. We aren't using paper. Get your ticket on your phone and just go right to the gate and have yourself a merry, happy time. So hospitality house will be like guest services, tickets, all that stuff. But it kind of creates a perfect loop. You know, you enter to the right down past the water features and the giant looming tower, which we did get rid of the other one in the back from the last video. It was just too much, too cluttered. But enter down into the right into the plaza, and you start your day at Settlers Square. So, and then when your day's over, you loop right back around where you started. So I think that was actually a happy accident. There wasn't any humongous amount of master planning that went into this, you know, little padiddle, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, you'll exit out through the Emporium and, you know, kind of pop right back out where you started, and then off into the parking lot. I did kind of start laying out the general parking lot, well, layout, I guess, and autosave. There we go. So that was kind of a happy accident, but I think it works out. We're just kind of generally laying out where the parking lot will be, and, you know, where the tram will go and everything. And the tram stop will be right here off to the right when you're exiting the park. So if you are parked further back, you jump on the tram and get to your car and go home. So that's really that. Again, it needs an interior. Probably gonna add some more details here and there and clean everything up just to tie it all in, because, well, I mean, that's kind of an open spot right there that, again, just an example, little details that I won't waste your time with a video, but the interior needs to get done. This will probably be something that I do. There are other interiors that I need to get done, and I'm very open for collaborations on that. So if you are interested, go ahead and hit my line, drop a comment or a message, or add me on Discord. All that stuff will be, all the necessities to get in touch will be down in the comment section and description for your ease of access. Now let's get to this SR2, or Skyrocket 2 for those who aren't complete enthusiasts. So this originally I like how it when I came back into this park, I realized as a whole, I'm just totally jacking Dollywood. I mean, just in general layout and overall theme inspiration and such. So I figured I'd jack something from Busch Gardens and just throw a massive off-the-shelf coaster at the front of the park. And honestly, it works out a lot better than I thought. So it's gonna stick, and we're really just trying to tie it all in, and, you know, again, little details that need to get done that I just absolutely hate doing, but exit through the gift shop and such, and there's a nice facade that we're working on right here. It gives you a cool view of the coaster, so that's pretty gnarly. So when you come down Settlers Square, you'll bang a right and go to Minetown, or go left to what was Franklin County, but that's gonna be New River Junction. That will be the next video. Actually though, like, I have footage and stuff ready for that, so we'll go over that in the next video and go over the station for the Mighty Appalachian Looping Machine, the park's Aero roller coaster. But for now, we're gonna bang a right, and we gutted the old train station, like I had said, kind of fixed it up, made the trestle look a little bit more, I don't know, beefy, I guess, and a little bit more run down and such, but it's just an empty shell of what the old train station would be. And the train passes over the bridge that separates Minetown from Handyman Hills, as it is doing right now, and it'll pass directly through the old train station. So it's kind of a cool little, nod to the park's history of what once was and such. And like I had mentioned earlier in the cinematic commentary, is we do have the new train station over here in New River Junction, but ignore all this noise, that's the next video. And yeah, just really tying in this kind of transition into Minetown. We wanted to keep the lines of sight and stuff. You still see the Schitt's Creek, the park's log flume, and the bear off to the right, and then the SR2, the Skyrocket II. So still, the jury is still out on a name, but Shenandoah Swamp Fox, something wildernessy that kind of works with the paint job we have, because if I have to go back in and repaint this whole thing, I'll kill myself. I don't want to have to do that. This is from the workshop. I will link that down below in the description, give credit where it's due. But yeah, so I kind of want to keep the same, overall paint scheme here, but if there are any other better name suggestions out there in the wide world, please let me know, because I'm getting lazy with the creativity, you guys. I'm burnt out. Like, I'm just tired all the time. So really, backstage, kind of tying all this in, throw up some barrier fences and such, and just some junk that you would find in a typical backstage. We need access to these buildings on Settlers Square and such. We got access points right here. This building has gone through a couple of changes and renditions just to kind of scale it in and make it look nicer. This corner I'm actually fairly proud of, this little access point to the main backstage area of the park, where we'll have employee parking, warehouses, home offices and such. So kind of wanted to have this tucked away and hidden back here in this little corner. This was a fun little thing to do. I spent like a whole evening trying to get it right, and I realized again how tedious this game is, and I question every day why we keep doing it, but it keeps me away from, drugs, alcohol, and premarital sex, all those really bad things. So spending my time working on this little corner was fun. This building is from the workshop as well. We'll link it down below, but that's kind of what I've been doing lately, is I'll find a building that I think will work in the park from the workshop, and then we'll go ahead and put it in the park, and then retrofit it, change, trimming, all that kind of stuff to make it fit. If you just plop down a building from the workshop everywhere in your park and go, oh hey, look at this park I built, well, you kind of didn't. Change it up a little bit. It's not complete plagiarism then, but I will link this original building in the description as well. And it's kind of cool because you got the Ferris. It's been a long day, guys. The Ferris wheel and the RMC. Iron Bandit's dead. Hot Shot is back. If you remember that series, I do apologize for the hearing aids and the visual aids that I gave you from that, but it was the infancy of the channel and we were trying out new things. Okay, I was young, I was stupid, we're just friends. So yeah, this little farmhouse, it won't have an interior, it's just a little something something. I think that'll probably be turned into like a first aid or whatever. We need some utility in this park. And at one point and or another in the near future, we will be getting guests in this park and make it functional, because as much as I liked to dunk on the functionality of this game in Appalachian Phase 1, that series, I was always saying, oh, this is just vanity, it's just aesthetic, I want it to look nice. Well, one, it didn't look that nice, and two, play the game as it's meant to. I mean, guests going into the park and riding the rides, I think that's a cool little thing. I don't want to put my computer through it and, decimate my frame rate, but I think we can make that sacrifice. So, going back to the train station a little bit, this little corner right here was where the old train depot entrance would be, this canopy right here, and then you can kind of see where it would have been. So it's kind of, I wanted to keep that and then have it a little overgrown, because if you're a huge theme park fanatic, you pick up on those things and you like look for, you know, inklings and little things of history of what once was at the park. So that's a fun little nod to all the theme park history nerds out there. But yeah, I mean, it looks cool. It looks neat. We're gonna do a backstage access point right here where the old exit would be, so we can service the backside of these buildings in Handyman Hills, which is all a work in progress. We're completely redoing this. It's gonna be Craftsman Valley on crack, cocaine, whatever your illicit substance of choice is. So really not a whole hell of a lot more to go over and show you guys. I guess we can go ahead and jump into tegidcam real quick and check out some of these views and these lines of sights and these vista points, because I hate to toot my own horn, but they're pretty good. So I'll see you at the front of the park in a split second. Okay, so here up at the top of the park, before you enter down into where the front entrance is, you can see the hospitality house. I'm probably going to fix this a little bit and actually put an interior in there. I think that'd be a nice kind of first thing you see when you come into this project. We'll have a park map right here and all that good stuff, you know, all that, those realistic little details that we often neglected. Adventure still awaits. This sign has not changed since we first started this park now, but it is cool because we have this view of the Skyrocket II with the old fire tower, fire watch tower is really freaking cool. So it's kind of a nice inviting nod to the thrill seekers that are coming to the park, I guess. But it really doesn't go out of sight at all. It's just kind of always up there in your face, dying to be noticed. I think the Skyrocket 2 models get too much flack among the coaster community. Honestly, I genuinely enjoy my local Skyrocket, well, local in quotations, Tempesto. I genuinely enjoy that ride, so it's gonna stick. If you don't like it, well, too bad, it's my park, not yours. Skylines don't change. I mean, we still have, we still got Bigfoot way off in the background doing its thing. With a new spine, we made it a little bit thinner, but I'm not gonna go ahead and, I had it time-lapsed, but that was just a boring video, so I think that's gonna just go ahead and be in the graveyard. You can see an older model inverted coaster there in the background. I wonder where we got the inspiration or idea from to throw a invert coaster all up in the grill of a dive coaster. Anyway, so we'll go over that in another video. Try not to get too excited waiting, but that'll be coming eventually. Guess, you know, no baggage, the ideal woman, that still sticks. Oh god, I'm not. And autosave again. Lovely. So, through security checkpoints, we got the stroller rentals and such back here. We did extend this canopy back a little bit, so there's theoretically more room for more strollers, because the first iteration of this building, you could fit like 5 or 6, and well, I'd like to assume this park is more ADA friendly, that, you know, we would need more than just 6 strollers and wheelchairs and such. So this is a little bit bigger back here. Kind of also doubling as storage for fans, I guess. I don't remember putting those there. Don't do drugs. So yeah, that sticks. You know, fencing, nice little view of the water feature and the windmill. Just nice little yeehaw elements right there that we can add. And of course the Skyrocket all up in your grill. And then come on down Settlers Square. And the same vista point hasn't changed. It's just it looks a little bit more open and a little bit better now. A little bit cleaner and a little bit, you know, scaled a little bit more properly, what with the trestle and the train going by and then the big arrow looper. That's so cool. That's a cool view. I'm sorry, I'm proud of how that turned out, but these buildings kind of just look a lot better. They just look better. I can't give you a more intricate, detailed description other than that they look, well, better. So yeah, it's nice. It's a little bit scaled a little bit more properly, and I'm genuinely happy with how this is turning out. So I can rest tonight knowing I'm not complete dog shit at this game, and that's a good thing. You should try to at least be good at one thing. So, like I mentioned earlier, you bang a right, you come up on the old train station, just kind of there. It's just there. But it adds substance, and it's something to look at in the park, and I think that's important. You always you want to give guests something to look at, but you don't want any sensory overload where they're looking at too much. So I think this is a nice subtle little way to, you know, pay homage to the history of the park and not entirely, you know, waste a good chunk of your off-season budget on, you know, demolition and such. We added more Brazilian nut trees. We doubled these up so they're a little bit, well, girthier, and it adds some nice shade and stuff. And what's one thing with this game I've kind of always been worried about is if you add too many trees, maybe you won't be able to see the details of it. You've got to be f***ing kidding me. You won't be able to like see the details of the buildings and such. So, but once you get into tegidcam, you can. So that's important. Yeah, and we got the gift shop right here. Still working on this. Need to think of a name for it, but it's kind of going to be a neat way to promote the ride. We'll have the sign right there, and it's just all up in your grill. And if you've been to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, you should have some familiarity with how much Tempesto is all up in the grill of the path and Apollo's Chariot, its neighboring coaster. So that was entirely intentional, and I'm entirely okay with how this has all turned out. Because it again, it's a lot, but it's not too much. It's a very open-aired structure that doesn't, you know, not too much sensory overload. And I know I'm saying that term a lot, but that's actually like an important thing that they consider when they're designing parks. Okay, you know, I read books on these things, guys. Like, read books and learn stuff. It's important. It's fun. But really, that's just about it. I know I'm rambling at this point. It's very these things are very candid and off the cuff, and I should probably be a little bit more professional with it and stop seeming like such an immature scrub, but I'm just rushing to get these out. So when you're coming out of Minetown, you got the gift shop on the left, and this kind of adds, having that building back there that'll eventually be First Aid, it kind of acts as a nice vista point that draws you in that direction to leave the park along with the Ferris wheel. And then you got the old train trestle where the train will be crossing, and that just adds a nice wooden Appalachian aesthetic. I didn't mean to climb the roof of this building, but I guess this would be a halfway decent, you know, stopping point just to kind of give you an overview of what we've been doing. So that's really all that's been going on, you guys. I do apologize for the delays between videos, but life happens, jobs happen, and you know, when you're forced to work in e-commerce because no one else is really hiring at a decent pay rate, you kind of get screwed working holidays and such. So I barely have time for myself and my family, but I will always make time for you. I love you guys. I will see you in a few days. We got some cool videos coming up, and we will probably get back in Valley America at one point and or another before the new year, but I don't want to make any promises because holy hell, that is less than a month away. This year sucked. I wish I spent my quarantine time being more productive working on these kind of things, but if we could control our lives, I don't think anyone would be sad or depressed, and there are industries built around that. So like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I will see you guys in a few days, and actually, good night, Kenosha, Wisconsin. And I'm gonna leave it at that. All right, love you guys.